and welcome to this week's episode of Experience Shakespeare. I'm Casty Cash, that Shakespeare girl. During the Elizabethan period, along with the lute, the fife, and the cornet, the Hurdy Gurdy was a popular Elizabethan instrument, and some historians think it might have even appeared on stage for some of Shakespeare's plays. Music was obviously a big part of Shakespeare's plays, showing up in Twelfth Night, A Midsummer Night's Dream, and several others. And today, David Cantrell of the musical group PanHarmonium is meeting with me today to show us how to play the Hurdy Gurdy, and he's even going to demonstrate a 16th century ballad and folk song that was popular during Shakespeare's lifetime. So we're going to learn how to play the Hurdy Gurdy. Tell us about the instrument. This came from the 16th century?
Oh no, much far beyond that.
So it's a very old history.
Much earlier. Oh yes,
okay.
Going back to the Middle Ages.
Wow.
Yeah, the first hurdy-gurdies were very large.
Okay.
2 people played them.
Wow.
One person turned the crank, and another person used things that touched one of the strings to change the pitch on it.
Oh, okay.
But then, still in the Middle Ages, they got a reduced size version like this.
Like this one?
Yes.
Okay. And this is designed to be played by one person?
It is, yes.
Okay.
So there is a crank, which when turned causes this wooden wheel with rosin on it to turn, and it's rubbing against, in this case, 3 strings.
Okay.
With the rosin on it, it's sticky, just like a violin bow would be.
Okay.
And so, in effect, it's bowing the strings.
Okay, so it's doing the same thing that dragging the bow across the strings of the violin would do, but just with a circle.
Right,
okay.
Yes. So there are 3 strings. 2 of them do not change pitch.
Okay.
And so they're called drones. The way this is tuned at the moment, the lowest pitch is a D, and then the high-pitched drone is an A, so it's an octave and a fifth above that.
Okay.
The string that's in between them is the melody string.
And that's the one that these keys
Yes,
mess with?
yes.
Okay.
And I can't help but mention this. So the name, well, the hurdy-gurdy was very popular in France. So a lot of the terminology for the hurdy-gurdy comes from the French.
Okay.
And so that string that you play the melody on is known as the chanterelle.
Chanterelle, okay.
Which is etymologically the same as my last name.
No way! Oh,
Yes.
so you're perfect for this
Yes,
instrument. It was made for you.
They both mean little singer. That's a diminutive of singer.
Oh,
right?
how
Yes.
fabulous.
If you just turn the crank, nothing happens as far as a melody. But if you press the keys,
so cool.
yes, it is. One thing about this instrument is they call it diatonic. That is, it only has 7 different notes available in the scale.
Okay.
So if you were playing something and you wanted to have both an F sharp and an F natural, you're out of luck.
It doesn't do it, okay.
Right. Now, you could have it so that it has either one of them. You just can't have both at the same time. Right.
Okay.
And the way you can get the different ones is by shifting these little levers that touch that top string.
And changing the angle?
Changing the angle, right,
Okay.
yes. And these, by the way, since they just touch the string, are called tangents.
Now, you're playing this as a lap instrument, but I noticed it has this strap.
It does have a strap.
Is
and
it
so,
designed to be carried?
Either way.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. One thing for sure, though, is you have to have it slanted down like this, because it is only due to gravity that these keys and tangents fall away from the melody string when you are not touching it.
Can you play chords, like more than one button at a time, or is it just one?
It's just like on a guitar with a single string. You can only get 1 note at a time. So you have the 2 drones and then the melody string playing just 1 pitch.
Well, I'd like to have you show us how to play one of the songs that you mentioned.
There is a medieval piece I could do for you on the hurdy-gurdy. But here's an example of a song from the Middle Ages. This is in Middle English. His way to liberty
So what do I need to do first?
I will just comment that the crank needs to go in that direction.
Only this way, okay?
Yeah, because if you were to bring it back the other direction, it would cause the cotton here that's surrounding the strings above the wheel to unravel.
Oh.
And you don't want that to happen.
No,
So,
okay.
yeah.
All right, I'll be very careful. Okay. So, got it slanted?
Ah, yeah.
That way? Okay. Now, do I put my hand over the top like this?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay.
Well, why don't you just start doing a drone, and it
Okay.
sounds great. Okay, so now you're ready to.
Can I put this?
You're welcome to put it around.
I would not want it to fall,
no
and
problem.
that makes me feel a little better.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, so.
You scared me.
This particular instrument
Okay.
is a lot different from more modern and, in some cases, better hurdy-gurdies. In those instruments, the strings are thicker, under much more tension, and when you press the tangents, it doesn't make too much difference how much pressure you use.
Okay.
But here, if you press hard, it's going to cause the pitch to go up.
Okay.
So you need to, if you want to be in tune, you need to use gentle pressure.
Soft, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Did that sound like a song?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, how cool! This is so fun. How long does it take you to learn to play something like this?
Depends on what you want to do, what you want to play.
Just a lot of practice.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Do the notes have the same name as like on a piano?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, so the bottom pitch without any key being pressed would be a D to
Okay.
match the low drone.
Okay.
Okay, and so that would be E, F, and it's an F natural here, then G, A, B, C, and then back to a D again.
Okay.
Now, the reason I have this dot here is simply because when I perform with the Dolores Hideout telling a story, sometimes we don't want it to be so loud, and so we close this. And that means I can't really see there, and so I mark the octave.
Oh, so you can
So that I can see it from the
Smart.
outside.
smart.
But these black ones are at the octave
Okay.
and at the fourth above the octave, which is exactly the same sort of markings you have on a harp for its strings.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
C's and F's are marked on harps with red strings. And
Okay,
blue strings.
so is there music that goes along with this? Like if you bought a hurdy-gurdy, because I found some online, I went looking.
Yeah, there is
You
music.
can
that
buy
get.
hurdy-gurdies, but can you, does reading the music, once you know what these are, or do the notes look the same?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
There's no special notation that I'm aware of.
Ooh, almost,
Yeah.
I had it.
You know, this is surprising. I thought about maybe you would want to play that.
I can hear it on there,
Yes,
the
Frère
sound of
Jacques.
it. So yeah,
Yes.
Frère Jacques, I was
Yes.
trying. Well, very cool. Thank you so much for letting me play this.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm gonna take this off and give it back to you now, safe and sound. So, how long have you been playing the hurdy-gurdy? You've been playing this, I think you told me 20 years?
Well, yeah, I got it in the 70s,
Wow.
1970s.
That's
so.
very cool. Now, I noticed that it has numbers. Do the numbers matter?
The numbers don't matter to me because I cannot see those numbers when I'm playing.
So, doesn't matter. Well, cool. Do you adapt? Now, with PanHarmonium, you guys perform period music
We do.
pretty regularly, but it's not all written for the hurdy-gurdy. So,
Oh.
are you adapting the songs to the hurdy-gurdy?
Yes, if it can be adapted.
Okay.
And we don't use the hurdy-gurdy a huge amount in PanHarmonium. I play lots of other instruments.
Yes,
so,
because
yeah.
David plays a whole wide range. He's the consummate musician. He plays so many things, and you sing too.
Oh
as
yes,
well.
I'm mainly a singer.
So it's a great honor to get to meet with him today. So, well, I think if you're ready, you're gonna play for us a song, not on the hurdy-gurdy, but this song
Three
you're gonna
Ravens,
play for
yes.
us is called Three Ravens, and it is from the 16th century? Or 17th century?
It actually, there are fragments from the late Middle Ages
Okay.
that show that the Three Ravens was around back then. The first full music for it was published in 1611 in England by Thomas Ravenscroft in a book named Melismata.
Wow. 1611 was the year William Shakespeare was performing The Tempest at Whitehall Palace. So this is literally plucked from the life of Shakespeare. Very exciting stuff. What kind of harp is this that we're playing
This
today?
is called a Gothic harp nowadays.
Okay.
Gothic because if you look, you can see it looks like something from a Gothic cathedral as to the way things are shaped.
Okay.
Yeah. Gothic harp's of course a modern name that they give to it, but it's definitely nothing like an old Irish harp at all. The Irish harps had metal strings and were plucked using long fingernails, whereas this type that was used on the continent of Europe and in England has gut strings and played with the flesh.
Okay.
And by the way, for those Shakespeare fans, gut has never been catgut for musical instruments.
Okay.
I think Shakespeare implies at some point that it is, but that's not. It's always been sheep intestines.
So I went looking to see exactly what did Shakespeare imply about strings and catgut, and turns out Shakespeare gets it right. In Much Ado About Nothing, they are playing music, and Benedict says, "Is it not strange that sheep's guts could hale souls out of men's bodies?" So it seems William Shakespeare also knew that strings on instruments were most often made from sheep gut.
So make sure we understand which animal sacrificed for the music. We'll give the sheep his due. And that would make sense actually, because in Stratford-upon-Avon, sheep and the wool industry was a big deal, so it would make sense.
Well, cats aren't big enough to.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, well, all right. So tell us about what song you're going to play. This is...
So this is called The Three Ravens. It's a folk song. There's a knight who's slain in the field, and there are three ravens looking down at him hungrily. But their plans for breakfast are foiled by the knight's loyal hounds and hawks and his beloved, who's represented in the poem by a fallow doe. The word prime means dawn. Earthen lake means grave. And you will also hear some nonsense words with a down, down, dairy, 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 down, down, all the way through this. There were three ravens sat on a tree, down a downy, downy, down. They were as black might be with a down. Then one of them said to his mate, "Oh, where shall we our breakfast take?" With a down, daddy, 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 down, down. Down, down in yonder green field, down a downy, downy, down. There lies a knight slain 'neath his shield with a down. His hounds, they lie down at his feet, so well they their master keep. With a down, daddy, 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 down, down. His hawks, they fly so eagerly, down a downy, downy, down. There's no foul dare come him nigh with a down. Then down there comes a fallow doe, as great with young as she might go. With a down, daddy, 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 down, down. She lifted up his bloodied head, down a downy, downy, down, and kissed his wounds that were so red with a down. She got him up upon her back and carried him to earthen lake. With a down, daddy, 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 down, down. She buried him before the prime, down a downy, downy, down. She was dead herself ere even song time with a down. God grant every gentleman such hawks, such hounds, and such a loved one. With a down, daddy, 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 down, down.
Oh, it's so sad. Oh my goodness.
Well, but
it's so beautiful at the same
he
time.
had faithful hounds and hawks and a loved one.
Yes.
Okay, so there's this other poem.
It's very Shakespearean in that way because it's like it ends beautifully, but you're still crying.
Right. So there's this Scottish version that I think is derived from this clearly, but anyway, scholars called the Trois Corbies.
Well, that sounds pretty, yeah.
Okay, well, corbies are ravens.
Right.
Okay.
So it has the same title anyway.
And in the Trois Corbies, the reason they cut it down to 2 is you want to have one eyeball for each of the ravens.
That's very Scottish.
Yeah. The raven, I mean, it describes the hounds running away.
Okay.
The hawks have gone off, flown off, and his lover has taken another love.
Oh.
And so his bone, the ravens come down and they have their feast, and his bones are just left there to,
to just be, just abandoned,
in the cold
not
wind,
even buried
in the
properly.
cold wind, right?
Wow.
Oh yeah, they take some of his hair for their nest too.
Oh gosh. Wow.
So that's the Scottish version. Now they're talking about sad.
Yeah. Okay, I take it back. Well, thank you so much for playing this and for meeting with me today. This has been delightful to get to learn about the Hurdy Gurdy, and to hear this folk song from Shakespeare's lifetime is a treat. Well, check the show notes for more information on where you can find out more about PanHarmonium and find out where you can see them in concert. And that's it for this week. I'm Cassie Cash, and I hope you learned something new about the Bard. I'll see you next week.
If you like these videos, please hit like and subscribe and join us every Saturday for more Shakespeare. And if you want to go even more in depth, why not become a patron? There's tons of freebies, including a monthly live chat with me about the history of William Shakespeare when you support our work here at That Shakespeare Life on our Patreon page. Go to patreon.com/thatshakespearelife to learn more, and I'll see you next week.
Oh, I hope you can edit that.